Today I want to translate the first sentence of Aristotle's Nicomachean Ethics. For this, I'll be using a basic dictionary, the Little and Scott Greek-English lexicon, the Little. I'll also be looking things up in my Smythe grammar book, and sometimes I'll also be using the Cambridge Grammar of Classical Greek. The first thing I do when beginning a translation is I write a list of every word that I don't know. This usually ends up being almost every word. And then as I look things up, I try to include important grammatical information. For adjectives and pronouns, I like to include the nominative singular of every gender and the definition. For nouns, I simply put the article and some definitions. Sometimes if there's a different stem, I'll include the stem change. For conjunctions, I simply write the definition. Verbs are especially tricky because the verb form in the dictionary will often be very different from what you have in your text. If this is the case, then you can use your grammar book to look at a list of principal parts of the verbs, and this will often help you find the verb that you're looking for. It'll also help you figure out what form of the verb that you have. So in this case, FEAME becomes FESTI, the middle infinitive. And verbs will often give you a different definition for the middle voice than they will for the active voice. Like in this case with apefenanto in the middle being declare your opinion. Verbs are the most important because in a complex sentence they'll tell us how many clauses we have, and we want to take a complex sentence clause by clause. We also want to make sure that we know the gender number and case of every noun, adjective, and pronoun. Sometimes this isn't clear until we start translating, like with agathu being neuter when it could have been masculine. And for infinitives, we'll need to know the tense and the voice. And for finite verbs, we need the person, the number, and the mood, in addition to tense and voice. After you get a lot of practice translating, this step is just one that you do in your head, but it can still be helpful to write things out when you're putting your sentence together. Starting with our doke clause, I put the subjects on the left side, and then I can write in the adjectives that go with those nominative forms. The dictionary told me that doke can take an infinitive, so in that case we know what to do with FESTI. Doke doesn't take any objects really because it's intransitive, but FESTI is special in that it can take a genitive object. And so now we know what to do with our genitive agathu tinos. Altogether, every art and every method, and in like manner both action and choice, seem to aim at some good. The next clause is the apefenanto clause, meaning they declared. This one does take an object, ta agathon. They declared the good. There's no subject listed, so it must be they. Now we can translate our third clause, the FEATI clause, a relative clause, again meaning aim at, so we expect a genitive object. And we have a neuter plural subject, which is completely normal with a singular verb. All things aim at which. And for a relative pronoun, we want to put the pronoun first, at which all things aim. For a relative pronoun, you also want to make sure that you know what your antecedent is. Here it seems to be to agathon, but if you look this up in your grammar book, you might see that there is another pronoun missing the predicate of the declaration of the previous sentence. It helps if we can just put the whole translation out to show you what I mean. So we have every art and every method, and in like manner, both action and choice seem to aim at some good. Therefore, they declared well the good, at which all things aim. Now this sounds like whoever they are declared one specific good. But I think what's really being said is they declared well that the good is that at which all things aim. That is, a antecedent was incorporated into the relative pronoun, and it's understood the sort of declaration these other philosophers are making. The other issue is that doke is singular, and we have a plural subject. I haven't really figured this out yet. It could be that doke is quasi-impersonal in use here, or it's perhaps attracted into the singular. So if you have a grammar book, maybe try to take a flip through it, and if you think you know the answer, let me know. Thanks for watching.